What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of, we'll call it the front rack build on the Kong 5x8 off-road trailer. Now, just to quick catch you up, if you don't remember what happened, I used to carry the generator here. I had the alternative fuel pack for the generator right here, and I have my mass tracks right here. But what I want to do is I'm currently in the process of building a rack up here so I can move the generator to it and have extra storage space for firewood and assorted things. Anyway, last week what we did is we went ahead and got the vertical straps built and put in. And I showed that whole process in that video. If you haven't seen it, click back. You'll be able to see how I cut this stuff and prepared it, measured it, all those type of things, and the actual crude, rudimentary drawing of what we're actually doing now. So today, we're gonna tackle building the front rack and hopefully starting some of the tack welding and finish welding and getting it put together. So, stay tuned. Okay guys, one thing I wanna give you guys a tip on is when I'm cutting everything, I try to number everything to make it all the same. That way when I go through and mass cut stuff, I can put them together. Like, we'll say this one. So right here, I'm gonna call this the main support. This will be the main lateral line that goes across the back of the rack that we'll attach the rack to for support. Well, I've got it marked as number 3, it's main support. This is the number or the length right here that I've got it listed as. And you'll see right here, I've got a number 3 circled, main support. And then the piece that I'm cutting, I have it marked right here where I'm gonna cut, and then right here I have the link that it's on, and then the actual number that it's gonna go to. So once I make this cut, I know that I'll take these 2 pieces, and that's one. And then all the subsequent pieces after that, I've got them marked and ready as well. This is rack number 1. It's gonna be 46 inches long. This is the cut I'm gonna make right here, and then this piece right here will join to one to make it singular. So, I just wanted to give you guys that advice because things get messed up real quick, and it's really simple to do it this way before you start. That way you rock and roll through your cuts and you know what goes with what. Like I told you, I'm gonna build all this rack out of scrap stuff that I've got, and the reason being is because I want people to understand that you don't always have to run to the metal store to get stuff to do it. Sometimes we have to do a little bit of more prep work. Like now I'm gonna have to join some of these together. I'm gonna make the cuts, get them to the length that I need. I'll have to pre-weld them, put them together, and then sand that, but then there's no need for me to go buy anything. So just keep that in mind. We don't always have to run to the lumber store and buy brand new stuff to start with. Not all projects have to be cost prohibitive, right? So everything, I'm gonna build this rack for free other than my time, because this is all stuff that I've had. Anyway, remember, comment below if you guys have any questions. I love helping you guys understand and work through issues. And again, it helps me deliver better content. Anyway, stay tuned, guys. Hey guys, okay, so here's the little frame rack that I was talking about. This is what will actually be mounted up on top. And so you can see it's pretty simple. You measure your sides. All you're gonna do is it's 45 to 45, 45 to 45. Those are all pretty simple cuts to be made. Always remember to measure your long side. What I mean by the long side is if you measure inside here, it's shorter than out here. So take your longest measurement and go from the outside edge to the outside edge, and then that's where you cut your 45s across. Now, the easiest way to determine if whatever, you know, this is more like a rectangle, but if you want to know that it's square, all you're going to do is come across here, corner to corner. So we're going to say that's 49.25. And this is something important. You want to do this before you put one tack down, because you don't want it to, you know, be off. And then 49.25 there. So you can see that way when you're measuring this all the way across to lay in your sheet, it's not oblong in some form or fashion. That way, if you go with this current configuration, you know that whatever the distance from here is, and here to here and here to here, is all gonna be square. I know that sounds relative because it's a rectangle, but
I am referring to the actual measurements. They'll all be square. This will be 18, this will be 18, this will be 18. This won't be 18, this be 21, and this be, you know, even greater, 20, 23. So you want to make sure you do this before you tack anything. And then when you do get to laying your flooring in, it's going to be easy to make 2 cuts. You're going to make your length and your width, and it should fall right into place. So anyway, let's continue, guys, and that was just a quick tip.
Okay, now that I've got those, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a button on each one of these top corners. That way I can flip it over and put tacks on the opposite side. That way structurally it won't move when I pick it up and move it to take it to finish welded. And you're not worried about what it looks like now, because if their balls are too big, you'll go ahead and just grind them down a little bit. But what you don't want to do is allow it to move. Now, it should be sturdy enough that we can pick it up, and lightly lay it back down and get a couple more welds on it, so then we can actually pick it up, move it somewhere, and finish weld it. So let's do that real quick. Remember, guys, what do I always say before you throw something down? Make sure you clip your tip. Okay, now I can go ahead and transition it to my welding table and knock this thing out real quick. Again, I will say that once you get this to this point, it's smart to go ahead and one more time check this bad boy. 49.25. 49.25. So we're good. We stayed square, we didn't move anything. If you did move, this would be the time that you would go ahead and cut the tack, square it back up. Whether you use something like this or magnets to set your angles on your sides to verify that you've got the perfect angles, perfect 90s on each corner, whatever you would do, you'd cut those beads, get this in place, go ahead and make sure it was good, and then tack it. And then you should be back to square. Anyway, let me transition this to the welding table and we'll go from there. So, as you can see, I've got it set up. Let me get this guy out of the way. And basically what I'm gonna do is go ahead and knock all this out real quick. Probably before I put the floor in. I wanna go ahead and get everything to where all the seams are squared, and I don't have to worry about this. This thing falls off something, moves, bends. It's not going to change measurements at all. So, I guess welding tip number 2, or 3, or 15, is that this is an entire metal surface. So this is gonna be my ground for the whole thing. I hate to have to work on something like this and flip it over constantly and have to continuously worry about unwrapping the ground and changing the ground and stuff. In this fashion, you see I've got, just right out of the frame, I've got a C-clamp holding this end. And so it's actually attaching this frame to this piece of metal and grounding the entire thing. So I can move around it without having an issue. Now I will say this, Public service announcement. If you're welding on a vehicle, I'm not a professional, but I will say this. If you feel safer doing it, go ahead and disconnect your batteries before you start, but also never ground across and weld across your vehicle. So if you're working on the passenger side of your vehicle, you should put that ground, if my weld is right here where my hand is, you should put that ground as close as you can get to it. So that way, the most path that current is traveling is a few inches to where you're welding. Don't weld one side of the vehicle and then go across and try to weld the other. You're taking that current through electronic devices and you could potentially cause a failure. So don't do that. These vehicles have so many electronic issues already as it is. We don't need to add to them. And everything is made pretty delicately these days, it seems. So be safe when you can. So that's my tech tip. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and knock these bad boys out. Okay guys, there it is. That's gonna be the basket that goes on front. So you can see it's bigger than it looks. It's 46.5 or 46 across here and 17.5 this way. So the generator will sit in the middle against the backside closest to the support system, and it'll give me an additional, I think, 4 inches in front of it up in this space right here. And then of course I'll have these two squares on the end where I'll be able to stack firewood on both sides or carry, you know, an extra water can or whatever it may be. I'll just finally have some exterior space to mount some kind of extra jugs or whatever I need to carry, because maybe say the trail changes or the location I'm going changes, so I need more water than the 15 gallons on there. And again, everybody knows that I carry an extra 5 gallons, so I carry with the trailer the 15 gallons on board, and then I carry a 5-gallon tank outside of that. Maybe this will become one of its locations. Maybe it'll sit on one of these sides and the other side I'll use for firewood. Either way, it's coming along. Next thing you'll see me do is make some brackets for the back bracing attachments and start getting that stuff put together. So stay tuned. Okay guys, this is where we're at. So we've got these somewhat tacked on and they're ready to go. I've got the back crossbar built in place like I was telling you how I'm gonna have it do. That way all the weight of this is gonna be supported in the back here on top of these rails, and then of course across the 3 of them. The reason being is the generator will be in the middle and push back. So you can see kind of how it's associated to the trailer and how it's gonna act as a nice area to put some places or put them things. We'll be able to get the generator up there, and then we'll be able to have this room down here for the diesel generator. And then again, the max stretch will still fit on the side, and the auxiliary gas tank will go right there. So we'll still be in good shape. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue knocking on. I'm gonna start working on the supports for the front part of the basket, and then we'll just touch base back here in a minute. Guys, here it is. Check it out. The new Krong front rack. So here's the 3 verticals that I built. Bolted in, you see they bolt from outside to inside. These are all nylon locks. I used a truck bed coating like I always use on everything that I paint. Obviously, once I was finished with it, primered it, sanded it, primered it, and then 2 coats of the truck bed coating. But here it is. I think this is gonna serve exactly what we need. Remember, we'll go back with the gas tank here. We'll use this area to install our diesel heater. And then our max tracks will either go on that side of the trailer, or I'm thinking about putting them up there. But just to show you what it is, remember, this is only 3/16. It's not huge. It's 1.5 inch, 3/16 angle iron. These are 1 inch 3/16 pipes. Nothing's real big. This is 1/8 inch diamond plate. These verticals right here are 3/16 strap that I just cut and made. So it doesn't have to be heavy to be strong, but you can see that all the weight is evenly distributed across the entire platform. The neat thing about it is this weight is set back, and it sits directly over the back, we'll call it the backbone riser, that is directly supported against these verticals. So all your weight, 90% of the weight's gonna be back here. These are essentially for supports, just to hang the front, but I'll show you. So, unfortunately for, I guess, purposes, I have to tell you, but I'm like almost 5'9", and I'm about, with clothes on and stuff, I'm 225. So, let's not talk about that. Anyway, again, this is 3/16. So that should tell you something, right? It doesn't even move. So now, so much easier for me to access the top of the trailer. And again, like I was saying, the generator, this is where it's gonna hang out. I rarely use the generator, but I have to keep it for emergency purposes. So it'll be housed up here, and I'll get it up there and show you what it looks like, and then some extra space on each side, and we'll be good to go. And now, without having to take the generator off, now I can access this place right here. And this is where I keep small extension cords and tent stakes, all the stakes that I use to tighten down the awnings. So anyway, makes it super easy again. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry it was a two episode build, but that's kind of what it took to do it right. Remember, we're never in a hurry to do a project. So again, do me a favor, comments below, like, share, subscribe. Hey guys, we're close to 1,000 subs on the channel since March. I started recording in March. Anyway, 1,000 subs since March of 21. We haven't even been a year yet, and we're almost at 1,000. I really appreciate it, guys. I've worked for the same company for almost 20 years. I'm really trying to do something different with my life. I'm wanting to move on to something else, and I kind of think I have a niche for this. And I really want to be able to convey new stuff to new people. So anyway, again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.